3, 2, 1. And come on, let's wave. Welcome to the VAbE, the podcast, or the VAbE experience.
And we're live. So, how are you all listeners doing? This is the VAbE, the podcast, and what we're bringing to you is the episode 12, and very interesting set of people in the room tonight. We've got a very good friend of mine. She is Dr. Arundhati, and she's a homeopath as a doctor, and also a fellow dancer. And yep, so good to have you here, Arundhati.
Thank you so much.
And apart from Arundhati, we have Rolls Rohit. That's what we're calling you, right?
Yes.
So Mr. Ro or Rolls Rohit
Rolls Rohit.
in the room tonight with us. And also AB Chan, not to forget, because the first question is going to go to him any which ways. So yeah, it's kind of been the whole.
Let's
setup.
hope I answer this one.
So wonderful. I guess a very good forum for us tonight. And what we're trying to sort of create here is perhaps speaking more about the dancing journey that we have. So the topic for tonight is my dancing journey. And since we have Arundhati as well on the in the studio with us tonight, I guess we'll sort of kind of try and create something about it to begin with. And yep, Arundhati, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I know it's kind of a bit new for you, perhaps having a different type of a recording, but nevertheless, I think it's pretty conversational the way we see it. But tell me something about how has your journey been in terms of dancing in very generic ways. So what all forms do you dance?
So I'm predominantly a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Yep.
And not predominantly, I am only a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Right.
So of course I'm into Latin dancing, but that's just for social dancing. That's more of something that I love because
Right.
it's the same language. It's the language of dance. But I've been a classical dancer all my life. And,
Yep. So how long have you been dancing? I mean, for the listeners.
Since the age of 3, so 27
Wow.
years now.
Wow. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's almost as though you can begin teaching, right?
I could have begun teaching long time ago, and I do
Yeah.
teach, but sparingly, because I mean it doesn't give me a lot of time. And teaching itself is a big responsibility. It's
Right.
not just people teach to make money, but
Yep.
teaching is genuinely a responsibility,
Right.
especially when it's a classical art, because it's not a journey of a few months or few years. It's a journey of a lifetime. And if you're
True.
willing to give that to another person, then you should take it up. So
And even to a certain extent, the justice that you do towards your art form as a soul, right? I mean, individually, the justice that you will do and probably help carrying the legacy further as such.
yeah.
But does it is it somewhere kind of a mandate wherein wherever you're learning from, they ask you to sort of start teaching as well or something like that, so to
Yeah.
spread the word? Or maybe-
Expectations are there always.
Okay.
But I sincerely feel it's not. Many people say we should teach to take the art form forward or it will perish. But I sincerely also feel the art form doesn't need you to survive. You
Hmm.
need the art form to survive.
Agreed.
So you should do what you truly feel is honest at that point. So for me, I don't really have the time, given my two professions, to teach with full justice.
Right.
But for people who have, I think they're doing a great job. So
Wow.
you should know your place is and in a very honest way. That's
Wow.
more important.
But how did you come across Bharatanatyam as a dance form, and what was that story?
So honestly, if I start at the age of 3, it obviously wasn't my choice.
Okay.
So my mom had seen a certain documentary on Kalakshetra, which is one of the biggest dance schools of the country
Yep.
when it comes to Bharatanatyam. And she found the art form very dignified and
Right.
very beautiful. So she's like, one day when I have a daughter, I want to teach her this. And then my grandfather expired, so I had a huge void in my life.
Right.
And I was just put into the local Bharatanatyam class that was happening. And when she saw that I took to it and had an interest, it became much more serious.
Wow.
But obviously, there's a fact that classical dances are they use the word boring, and I will not deny it at the start of the learning process, because
Okay.
it's a lot of monotonous hard work.
Right.
So a lot of people give up, but I had the blessing of parents who said, "Come what may, you're going for class." So till I think at least till I was 16, 17, I did not realize the blessing I have got of being pushed into this art form. Only then did I like realize, and it became a way of life for me
Right.
consciously.
No, because there's usually a saying in dancing, right? I mean, practice makes permanent.
Permanent, yeah.
It's not
Perfect is
perfect.
not that. It's permanent.
permanent.
Right.
So the
Practice
more
makes permanent.
exactly, the
Oh.
more you practice, the more it becomes, as
A
you
part
said,
of you. It's
you're
More of-
living it, right?
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
living it. You're
exactly.
breathing it.
Connected to the muscle.
exactly. I mean,
memories.
all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can just sit randomly and just think of
Yeah.
dancing also, and you're already there.
No, that is something I have experienced.
Yep. It's
So
true.
that's very true.
So the more you practice, the more, I mean,
You're
you get-
one with it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And maybe it takes time for a few people to reach there per se. You
I
said
think the awareness takes time, not
Hmm.
the process itself. It's your personal journey that takes time. The art form is always there.
right.
You connecting to it is a choice.
But then how did you manage medical school and dancing as well
I
together?
actually have no idea. If you ask me to do it again, I would not.
Okay.
So for me, the thing is, the compulsory things were studying and going for class.
Yeah.
So when I made these two things compulsory, when you throw yourself into the water, you will swim.
Hmm.
And I genuinely am blessed with a family that gave me no other responsibilities. You
Wow.
have to study and you have to go for class.
Good.
And they were like, we'll support you, everything else.
Wow.
So you don't have any other responsibilities, just make your life. So, I mean,
Wow.
it's honestly because of them. It's not easy doing it otherwise.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, when I can't imagine you are studying medical and
No.
the life in medical while you're studying medical.
Oh,
It's extremely hectic. I had friends in Ayurveda, and I have seen how hectic it gets for them to they can't even manage any other skill sets
Right.
apart from that.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, because my mom also went to medical school, the
Yeah.
importance of that was equally given. So,
Wow.
she knew when I was cutting corners. So, that also couldn't be done.
Right.
And I actually, if I can get to an anecdote, I remember a time I had second year, I had my forensic medicine exam in the afternoon,
Okay.
and I was scheduled for class in the morning. And I called up my guru and told him, "Sir, I have exam tomorrow."
Hmm.
And he asked me what time. I said, "In the afternoon, 1 o'clock." Then 9 o'clock, you can have class. And the classical background is, first of all, you don't talk this much to your guru.
Oh.
And words like no don't exist for us to talk.
Okay.
Right.
That's the way we are. It's not something they do to us, it's the way we are. So I had class in the morning and then went for my exam. So I have done that too.
And here you are with a degree of
Yeah.
and practicing proper doctor.
Yeah, I never thought it would happen, but it did.
But yeah. Then again, then you had it more like a sadhana for lack of
Now
better
it
words,
is.
yeah.
Now I can say the word sadhana and all. Then I was just going day to day, day to day. I was too young to realize what is sadhana or
Right.
what it is giving to me in life.
Exactly. But I mean, I know maybe we could connect it later on, but maybe I was too eager to sort of join a separate plane to dancing, because for me it is that ways. I find dancing more as a, how do I say, a sanctuary for me, which is more of a healing at different planes altogether, right? So whenever I see Shiva, he performs his tandav, which is again a dance, which is a dance of destruction, the way you see it. And he also is the Nataraj, who is kind of the penultimate of dancing. That's how I correlate to it. But when I started off dancing, it was more like a safe space for me, and more of a place to heal also.
Right.
How was that type of a plane for you when you
So,
see it from that perspective?
Talking on one of your points, when Nataraj does the dance of destruction, it is for resurrection. He destroys to resurrect again. He
Yeah.
Make
destroys
space for
to
the-
create
yeah.
again. So
Yeah.
that circle of life.
Correct.
So it's the perspective we look at. That was one thing.
Mm.
Second thing for me, as I grew up, so a lot of us, I think in our 20s, when we start facing life, get into jobs and just leave, we get into this spirituality kind of thing. We realize there is something called spirituality, and
Yep.
all of those things. I realized one thing. Even so, homeopathy is also very holistic healing art, and for me, both of them pretty much come on the same plane. I realized in life that I have been meditating all my life.
Yeah.
Because when you're dancing, meditation is just one point focus.
Correct.
Basically, meditation is that.
Yeah.
When you're dancing or doing any art form, it's not just dance. I resonate more with dance. That's why. It is actually being focused at one point. So that's just hours of meditation. And if you just are aware of the spirituality that it ingrains into you
It is,
as a person,
yeah, because that is something similar I have experienced as well. Because that is what I've realized. Like meditation is nothing but whatever engulfs you completely, and you are like you're completely lost into it. So that is meditation for you.
and
Even if
then
you're into
are
writing,
capable to come back to the real world.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's more
exactly.
important. We can't
Because-
just be lost in our own world.
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
reality.
For me, my meditation was playing the piano. So I would be playing and I would be like, just close my eyes. I'm completely lost. And the moment my eyes are open, I'm like,
Back.
like something I for a moment I was
Yeah.
not existing at all. The time ceased to exist.
Yep.
That was the point when I realized this is meditation. Anything that engulfs you completely. And you get lost and you don't have track of time, or the time just
Yeah,
completely
that's
ceases to
beautiful.
exist. Yeah.
True. So for me, single point of focus used to be the music. I used to give in to music.
Yeah.
Just, let loose and let music tell you how to move as such. So perhaps, yeah, I guess that does make sense. But here, when you talk about, say, sadhana, how does that typically, if you want to sort of take a deeper dive into that?
So, again, with the classical arts, there's one thing. It's years of learning before you can even get somewhere.
Hmm.
It's many, many years of learning just basics before you even can thread together something. For that, you have to literally completely surrender.
It is that point you can't separate yourself from the
Yeah, you
from
can't.
the art.
It's a complete surrender of self. And that quality that I have learning this art form of complete surrender, because only when you completely surrender do you actually
You
absorb
become
something
one.
complete. You become one.
Yeah.
And that is prayer, that is meditation, that is spirituality.
True.
That is actually what it is. There are many
Exactly.
names for it, but
Correct.
and
That's kind of the easiest way to reach spirituality, the way I see it, per se. And a lot of people have been
the
telling me
process
same
is
thing.
not that easy.
Through
It's
dancing.
years of
Yeah, they say it is much easier when you're actually... So dancing, by that I mean moving, maybe movements or something of that sort, when you
Right.
actually give in to music.
yeah
So I've seen a lot of people who are, when they're blissful, they're just all over the
Surrendered.
place. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm coming from that place, not a specific
Right.
structured dance form,
right
which has a wrongs and the rights also.
right
But
And that is something I have derived from you.
Hmm.
Like because of you, I got into Latin dance.
Yeah.
And seeing you, how you completely get into the form of dancing without focusing on anything else.
Correct. And
Yeah.
at times, even if I'm speaking to someone, I'm lost.
Yeah, you're completely lost. And that is
I
something
don't
I
know.
derived out of you. Like, okay, this is something I like. That is how I need to understand dance. And I connected it in my own ways.
Correct. But I
Like
guess
that.
it's more about just going for it
Exactly.
and then practicing and
Exactly. The practicing thing.
correct.
Yeah.
Because I've had conversations on the dance floor, but then it's been mundane conversations, and it's been very
yeah I've
mundane
overheard
dancing.
those
I'm like in my
conversations.
head and what's happening. And if I meet a friend, I'll like, hey, Arundhati, what's up? And where we're talking all bakchodi and everything, but nothing more, right? But once you're in the zone of dancing,
Yeah.
then I actually don't seem to process what is happening. What is the person even trying to say, or is she even trying to hit on me? What the hell? So it doesn't work that way for me. So
Yeah.
for me, it's more of I actually get completely. You catch me off guard if you are speaking to me while I'm dancing.
yeah
So
that's
it's like
true.
when you're focused so much and someone taps on your shoulder, you're like,
It's
what the hell?
yeah, why did you do that?
Exactly. Now there was something good going on over here. Let me dance.
So for us in class, we have like a 3-4 hour class
Hmm.
nearly every day.
How early?
We start around 8:39.
Wow. Okay.
We go on till like noon at least.
Oh.
Wow.
So we are drenched in sweat and all of that. But
Mhm.
if it's a light class and we've not done so much, there is some uneasiness inside.
Something's missing.
Yeah, something. But when the class is like, you can't even get up anymore after that, we're like, this is moksham. This is nirvana.
Now
This is
I've
what we
reached.
wanted.
Did you say moksham or mosham?
Moksham. I'm Tamilian, no?
Moksham. Okay. But then that's how you correlate to, yeah, I've danced today.
No, this is today my day is good. That's a rejuvenation. It's actually you're tired physically, but inwards you're so much rejuvenated because those vibrations, that energy, it's just gorgeous.
And how do you correlate emotions into specific dancing? Now per se, usually, if I'm not wrong, Bharatanatyam is usually a story which is said, right?
Right.
So the story does have emotions.
Right.
How do you display out emotions during your dancing?
That's the abhinaya aspect of the
Okay.
dancing. That's
Okay.
what we call it, which is actually very deep. People do it very superficially, which is good also because you have to go superficial to then go deep.
Right.
That is very deep. And they're so for me, how I related to it is they're all stories from mythology, all of them.
Yeah.
They are so closely related to life, all of those stories. And a lot of times you don't go through those emotions because when you're 20, you've not gone through a lot of emotions that, when Radha Krishna had a fight or when Krishna cheated on Radha, you've not gone through that as a woman to go through such a huge thing of cheating. You've not gone through that as a woman. To portray that is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I had this one teacher who told me, portray it as you are at 20 because it will mature with life. And your life experiences will add to your abhinaya. Do not try to do it the way I'm teaching it to you. Learn it from me, but do it as you are. When you're 30, you will do it differently and you will see the difference. But you can't do what you did at 20. You can't do the same thing at 30. Let it mature. Go with the entire thing. So also because these are stories about life,
So
there are a lot of things you learn from it before you even experience it.
So basically, you are learning from your teacher, and you are molding it in as per your personality.
Right. Yeah, of course, because
it's
you have
adding
to
your
give your
elements
own.
of your personality.
That has to always be there
Exactly.
because cut, copy,
That is-
paste is for a robot.
Exactly. That is how the congruence
Yeah,
thing comes into the play.
right.
Needs to be congruent to your
Right.
personality.
Exactly.
And these stories everything has a very moral, righteous ending because it's mythology. It's always
Yeah.
been like that.
Mhm.
And then you can sit and ponder on it on your own
Right.
of what you think of it, what it adds to your life.
Or even sometimes reflect on it.
Reflect on it to understand that would you do the same thing or why was that right or why was that wrong? In what perspective? And then maybe that pondering helps you in your own life a lot. It really has.
And perhaps that's where the growth and your maturity comes
Your
in, right?
own emotional growth.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a beautiful journey.
Nice.
What about you, AB Chan?
Exactly. I was going to come to you only. The spotlight's on you now. How about you?
Shots have been
Research
fired.
and dance qualified.
Any movement qualifies, but how do you see dancing as such, and what is the story that you have in your own headspace as such about with relation to
Like
dancing? And
any instance, is there an instance like you would have enjoyed dancing, like danced as if no one is watching you? Like just like, even if you're drunk and dancing.
I don't prefer dancing actually. Like, took me a while to understand that. It's not that I'm bad at it. It's just that I genuinely don't enjoy the act.
You're not into it.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather enjoy singing, which no one would
Oh.
want to listen, but that's what I enjoy the most. I feel when there are certain songs that play. So like meditation, right? And
Yeah.
you're so focused on even not reciting, but then just listening to that song. So
yeah.
So
but dancing, I've like my elder sister, she used to learn Bharatanatyam growing up. My mom always wanted her to be a professional dancer, but then again things didn't pan out so well. so I know, like, like I've seen guys
Hmm.
dedicating their, I mean, how old that I was a kid, and that time they were probably 18 or 19, and I see a guy
Hmm.
like, with all this makeup and dancing in a certain
Dedicating
fashion. One could
completely.
call it feminine, but then again,
Hmm.
that's a certain role that guy was
Exactly.
playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was funny at first, but then again, when I started going with my sister to those sessions, and then
Hmm.
it used to be very it all made sense. I mean,
Yeah.
like looking at the entire act. But personally, I have no relation with dancing. All I have are like pretty early stage failure stories. When you say dance, the first thing I remember is like I immediately think of fourth or fifth standard. That was the first year I was trying to audition for annual day, and I have been failing ever since. Since fifth standard, I remember starting my journey, and I still remember my audition for when I was in 10th standard. It was our popular algebra teacher's batch. She was creating a dance group, and nothing is coming. It's is that, I mean, and what I find it funny is like, I know every year it's going to be the same. I wanted to dance, but I didn't have the intention to practice. I didn't take any extra measures so that at least this year I would perform better. Every year I would just show up like, put types, like, you just, there's no coordination between your hand and legs and that weird face.
That's brave.
Yeah.
So when you say dance, the
You're
first primary
brave.
feeling I have is like embarrassment. Now I feel embarrassed because now I know like I cannot be what I was back then. And then when I was in 11th, I believe that was the time when I first performed on an annual day. I was in junior college MGM. It's in Nerul. So that's when I danced. It was on Rang De Basanti, and I believe that. So you said, right, like, I mean, dancing as if no one is seeing. So that dance had to be,
that dance had
Because it was
and
piled
the
up.
worst part is there was no video recording of it. The entire annual day went without any video recording
Wow.
because there was some major fuck up by the production team, and there's no proof whatsoever. But then again, the memory is so good. And in order for me to, and just imagine, like, it was a group of, I believe, 5 girls and 5 boys.
Hmm.
And my friend was like, putting the group together. And he was stuck with 2 options, like Abhishek and Sujit Ambore. Okay. And Sujit, both of us were like less than mediocre dancers. But I still feel that Sujit Ambore was a little better.
Okay. Humility.
But then,
Okay.
so, and that I remember that instance because that time my friend told me, like, who should I take?
Hmm.
Is it you? And we're discussing this in the afternoon because 4 o'clock we have to go to Khargar at one of the girls' place to practice.
Yeah.
And it is like instant. And he's my best friend, Ambore. And I had to strike him down. I told him it has to be me. Haven't I told you enough? I've been auditioning since 5th standard. So
Is this your apology to him?
no. So fortunately, like, I hooked him up for another dance. Meli Re Meli Maji Sakki Sasu Meli. There was a song. So he got a small part. Yeah, it was it's a very good song. Ratri Khala Chicken Chili. खाता खाता चांगली झोपली अरे गेली माझी सख्खी सासू. So the guy is crying, but he is happy as fuck because his mother-in-law passed away.
Oh Lord, what a song! What a song!
So these are the 2 vivid memories, instances that I have. But then again, I've never, I believe when you started, when you enrolled yourself to that, I'm forgetting the name, the dance class. So that time, I believe you had me a little convinced, like, we could do it. But then again, like, there was a small moment when I felt that I should try for once. But then yes, I aspire to dance. I want to learn.
So the major
few dance forms.
Block which I've seen with people is that people think way too much that what he might be thinking about me, the way I dance. Okay.
And what do you do if you yourself think too much about?
Exactly. So you need to actually get out of that headspace.
Because I'm so convenient. Like I can barely care now what people think of me. all what matters is like, because I'm always in my own zone, right?
Exactly.
So now I think too much of myself, or probably less. It can be either way. But then I feel I would love to
Give it a
learn
shot.
hip hop. Yeah, once.
Why not?
Yeah, I
So-
want to, because I like maybe by the before the end of this year, like, so let me commit this new year. I'll dance professionally.
Ooh la la.
Yeah,
Nice.
Awesome.
can't commit the dance form, but then
It's a good start at least. But I've come across so many people who have this innate fear, right? I mean, I have two left feet, I cannot dance.
sorry.
I have two left feet, so I cannot. I mean, that's kind of the statement which they make, right? It basically means that they cannot dance.
Oh, like I say, I'm Dharmendra of dance.
Yeah.
Big shout out. But then it's something which I don't believe in. I've seen people who actually claimed that and becoming a very good dancer later on. I've come across so many of them. A lot of them cried on their first day at the dance class. After the dance class, they were scared and what all. But 5 years down the line, you see them professionals.
I feel dancing is one of the very few, or there are very few things in life where you give it a shot repeatedly
Hmm.
and you turn out different every single time.
Absolutely, and there are no shortcuts. That's the thing, right? You cannot have any shortcuts to it as such.
You can consume it in your as
Yeah.
per your own appetite.
So
You know,
so till date, around 27 years, right? You've still been practicing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
there aren't any shortcuts the way I see it. There'll be a cheat code to learn something different.
There are always cheat codes, but you really don't get there.
but then this
Exactly.
is something. She's on a different level, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Way
Because
different.
it's
The
like,
combined experience in the room was still more than still her experience is more than the combined
Oh.
strength. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like how many hours like do you dance, practice Bharatnatyam every day?
So we have class every day, but
Every single day, apart from
yeah.
the weekends. And
apart from the weekends, on
so let's say
some
at
days
least
also the
250
weekends.
days in a year you are
Yeah,
committed
minimum,
to dancing.
minimum.
Minimum.
On days there are no class, I have to practice because otherwise my legs will pain on Monday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And apart from the dancing, there's a lot of fitness that we have to do because after a point, if you want to take your dance to the next level, you have to add a little more. So there's a lot of fitness and stuff that we.
Exactly.
So life revolves around that. You have to live it, breathe it in and out. Then it does
True.
something to you. Then it takes care of you the way
Yeah.
it's meant to.
True. And that's what happened with me, right? I started off dancing, and that's when I started with my fitness journey also. And I mean, that's where I met Ro coming in and helping me with the. No, I met you early on, but
Yeah,
that fitness journey was
But
one
fitness journey
very
was
good.
like,
Yeah.
like we formed a very deeper bond over fitness as well.
Exactly.
That
I mean,
was a turn.
but then the beginning
turn.
was
Yeah.
the same, like she said, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I couldn't dance more, hence I had to be
Into
having
fitness,
a better
yeah,
health
exactly,
so that I can
exactly.
dance more per se.
Mhm.
I mean, for the smaller things, but
Yeah.
on a larger
But-
plane, a lot of dance movements I couldn't do
Exactly, yeah.
because I wasn't flexible enough in
Mhm.
my shoulders as such.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So fitness and dance, they
Yep.
complement each other
exactly,
very well.
exactly, and
Yeah, and it makes you pretty flexible.
true,
And-
and the way of living also kind of
Exactly. You
comes
take care
along
of
with
your body will take care of you.
Exactly.
It's a very simple philosophy.
Very true.
So what all are those things that you've seen, Arundhati, in terms of say dancing and a typical lifestyle that they usually recommend? I mean, do you have to listen to music also every day? And
So when it comes to the classical arts,
Yeah.
music and instrument, talam, all of this is way of life.
Hmm.
So when you're learning a classical art, you're not just going to class and learning dance and coming back.
Hmm.
Because classical dance is based on classical music, and anybody who trains in classical dance trains to become a teacher.
Yeah.
If you're training to become a teacher, which is the ultimate goal,
Mhm.
performer is one part of it.
Yeah.
If you teach, you have to know music, you have to know talam, you have to know one instrument, you have to know to sing.
Right.
Okay.
You have to know. I don't sing. I know music. I don't sing. So we'll
so
not get
what
there.
instrument do you play?
So I just a few months of playing the flute. That's all.
Oh, damn nice. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
just few months of it. So I don't play
What,
the flute.
flute? Oh,
But that's again Carnatic music. So
Carnatic.
Right.
Yeah.
music, okay.
But that's just a few months, so we'll not go there.
No, I was asking
But
you to bring your flute along so that you
no,
could
that's
play.
not going to happen. No.
No, the reason why I asked you this is I came across one of this interview of this salsa dancer called Terry
Uh-huh.
Cecile.
Uh-huh.
He's from France. One very good salsa dancer, and he's, I mean, by the whole salsa fraternity, is
Mhm.
named to be the god of musicality.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever he dances, it is as though he's using his body to play the music.
Right.
It's not the music he's dancing
Right,
to. That's
right,
the level of which
right.
he's engrossed in the music, right?
Right.
So what he says was that when he started off with break dancing,
Mhm.
and then slowly he got introduced to salsa dancing. So whenever he was even washing dishes or
Right.
sweeping, swapping, and whatever, he was listening to salsa music. All right.
Right.
So he says for you to sort of learn one song, it takes you at least 300 times to listen to the same song.
Absolutely.
300. I'm like, okay,
Absolutely.
let's do that.
Come again?
To learn one song in and out, you
Beat
need to
by
listen to
beat.
it minimum 300 times. Right.
True.
Now there was one more concept which he brought in here. He says that maybe the whole of the spectrum of salsa music will be say around 10 to 12,000 different songs. All right. If you even learn the 100 songs out of it, you can dance on all the 12,000 of it
True.
to a very good extent. I mean, as though you know the song, you know what's going to come up. So the pattern in which the song is made by the musicians, it's usually the same. It's just one or two places where if there are any section changes, or maybe say sometimes they change the rhythm as such, or maybe sometimes there is a montuno section as such. So that's where things might just change as such. But in general, it is usually these 100 songs as a template. So 100 songs, 300 times, you listen to it, you're already a salsa dancer as per him. But he's a god. He till date, every day his playlist is only of salsa songs. And he actually, while he's dancing, he's singing. So he's
Yeah.
saying that, my
Okay.
body is not just connected, but I am singing because I am enjoying the song.
Right.
And that's how he's lost in it, right? And whenever you guys might want to YouTube it, Terry Salz is what he goes by, or Terry Cecile, that's CECILE, TERRY, Terry Cecile, and you should see the way he dances. I mean, you'll just stand and watch him dance. He's that amazing. So it's all of the lifestyle that you've maintained, right? I mean, in
Right,
terms of how
right.
much justice you're doing. It's
Yeah.
not that you don't like, say, blues and R&B or say
Yeah,
Bollywood
true,
music as such, but
true.
then you're so engrossed in
But
it.
that's actually a fact because I don't know most of the new Bollywood songs that have come.
Yeah.
But because I'm all the time listening to my Carnatic music, so
Yeah.
something that I've done in class, I'll come back and keep listening to it.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying you to listen to it so many times to imbibe it, I'm understanding the number.
Yeah.
But I never knew that I'm doing it unconsciously.
Exactly.
Because for us, I mean, you keep listening to it so much that you wake up from sleep, also you do it right.
Exactly.
You wake up from sleep, and when you perform, that's the thing. You have to make it so deep in your muscle memory that when you perform, you can lose reality, transcend, but you still do the steps right. You don't
Right.
transcend to an
So you are
extent that
completely
So you know
doing
all the cues
unconsciously.
basically also, right?
it's you know the cues very subconsciously.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
It's happening
not on your
unconsciously,
face
right?
that you know the cues
Correct.
and all of those things. So
And you get impressed also. I mean, the way you sort of catch all the cues.
It's like typing, I believe. Like you don't know where your fingers are, but they get the job done.
something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Muscle
Because
memory.
yeah,
It's like happening unconsciously.
Any muscle memory for that
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
works
Just
in that
find
way.
the-
You're doing it so many
Cycling.
times. It's just like you're just automated on that.
Yeah.
It's like that is what Bruce Lee says. Like, I'm not afraid of the person who knows 1,000 kicks, but I'm afraid of the person who has practiced one kick 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Like that.
Because that will be so perfect to the T that is unbeatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
And even in the Latin dancing, that's what they say, right? I mean, just do very, very simple movements and do very good.
True.
Enhance
True.
them.
Exactly. The basics. That's the best part. And it is so simple that you can dance with a beginner, you can dance with an advanced, but
Yeah.
you're so good at it the advanced thing that you're an advanced dancer, but hey, I'm just a basic dancer doing the basic
Yeah.
steps. Right. That's it. That's the only, probably that's the way to go. And that's much easier for me also.
Mhm.
So yeah, usually it's the same set of steps. Sometimes it gets a bit too much, but yeah, you need to reinvent things on the dance floor at times. But yeah, that's a separate conversation.
But I think that's where experience comes in. Like the
Exactly.
sections that you said, most of the songs are template, and the
Yep.
sections where they change, or sections which are there is where your experience or your innovation comes into play.
Correct.
That
Yeah.
is, and that experience comes from practice again.
Correct.
Exactly.
The whole underlying what do you say, foundation is practice. I mean,
Practice.
For anything, for that matter. We are stuck on dance, of course, but
yeah,
that
I mean,
applies for anything.
correct. Even doctors are asked that. We were just laughing about it. Right? Every doctor
Yeah.
is still practicing.
We're practicing.
Exactly.
It may sound scary, but that's a fact.
Exactly. Every doctor practices. That's the truth. Yeah. But sometimes you at certain places there are these companies which are coming up with hacks to do things and hacks to do this and that. But typically in dancing, it's also coming from practice. If you know certain steps, you use those certain steps
Yes.
to learn the
Yes.
new one.
Yes.
And that's the hack that you
That's the hack
It's
that
like
you
you
get.
you just don't want to, or you just don't have to think about it.
Right.
It is just flowing through you now.
Because many times on stage for classical dancer, if you're doing with a live orchestra, there's
Oh.
some mess up in the orchestra. Somebody misses something. Everybody can't be perfect.
Exactly.
When you make a mistake, they help you. When they make a mistake, you have to get back to them. That's
Exactly.
where experience, that's where, and when you've done a piece so many times,
Mhm.
you know exactly where you left, you know exactly where the ताल कहाँ छूटा, कहाँ से वापस पकड़ना है, कितना छोड़ के फिर वापस पकड़ना है. You know the song inside out. So when they're singing, you know when to start, when to stop, wait for the repetition, what not to do. That only comes from practice.
So many
There
things
is
are
so many
happening
things.
at one time.
Absolutely. Sometimes the light goes off, so
Yeah.
everybody stops.
Mm.
When the light comes back on because of the glitch or whatever, when the light comes back on, then you know where to pick up from. क्योंकि ताल तो चलते जा रहा, that can't go. So there are lot of it's so much of intermingled stuff that you should know, you have to know, and that only comes from doing it like millions of times.
True.
So 27 years is still less.
I'd say that. Yep. I agree.
How old are the gurus?
My guru is nearly 50 now,
Wow.
but they are from all range. Well, he's a genius, so pretty young to be a
Yeah,
genius.
you've told me. You've shown me
Yeah.
his picture. He looks
Yeah,
so
yeah.
young. I mean,
Yeah,
I thought
he
he was
does.
just in his 30s.
And how many guys are there in this practice?
So, guys, in Chennai, there are more guys.
Okay.
I live in Chennai because dancing is more a way of life over there. But yeah, there are a fair bunch of guys in this. And because you said, you know, all guys are not effeminate. All guys are not that feminine. They are. A lot of them are. A lot of them aren't. But then again, it's your own
But then
personality.
it's an act, right? I mean,
It's an act.
depending
It's an
what role
act,
you're
but
playing.
so there's also the other thing. The art form rubs on you as a person also.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I am also sitting and talking, people ask me, are you a dancer? But because I talk like that, that's what the art form has given to me. So that's not only for me, it rubs on everybody else. But it rubs in different ways for everybody.
So
It
you.
is-
Okay, sorry. Go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, you keep doing something over and over again, and you just become that.
You become that, yeah.
Exactly.
True,
You just become that
It
person.
grows on
It's-
you.
It grows
Yeah.
on you.
No, but if you see Kathakali,
Mhm.
the dance form, which is only performed by men,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So is it Kathakali and Mohiniyattam?
Mohiniyattam more
Is
by
only
women.
female.
Yeah.
And even Odissi, I'm not
No,
sure. about
Odissi both too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kathakali, Mohiniyattam coming from Kerala,
Yes.
correct? And Kathakali only performed by men.
Right.
And Kathakali also has a story where there is going to be a female character, which is still performed by men.
Right.
And the grace with which they come up.
Right.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's actually, you get goosebumps while you're
Yeah,
seeing
they
that.
put us to shame. They put us real women to shame. That's true. That's very, very true.
You actually don't come to know that, it's a man who's performing that. Right? I mean,
And the expressions are so quick and like neat.
It's
And
fine.
The
it's
body
more
eyebrows
language.
and
Exactly.
You know, when I look at them, I'm like, why can't I be this feminine? it's that beautiful
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
watch.
Exactly.
And there are many men who are very alpha male who can enact that.
Right. Right.
Who are
Mhm.
alpha male in real life.
Yep.
Absolute alpha male. who can enact that. And that's a very rare quality to have. Very, very rare quality to have.
True that.
Wow.
And India has so many dance forms to offer. I mean, as a part of the classical set of things, say you go north, there is Kathak, which has 2 gharanas. Then you see
Multiple gharanas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are more than 2 as
Multiple
such.
gharanas,
Okay.
of course.
I didn't know them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew
No, that's
the
good.
textbook, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
Jaipur and the Lucknowi gharanas.
No, there are multiple gharanas.
Right. But I mean, I for one is a huge fan of the Lucknowi gharana.
Yes,
It's a
of
separate
course.
thing. But I mean, even in that, when men are performing, the grace with which the body language, it's more, I don't know, I won't say restricted or as such, but it's very firm as a body language when they're performing, and every tal that they're hitting is with full force, and every step that they take is with a lot of force. And you actually see that, this guy might be ripped as damn when he's, sort of doing that. I've seen those dancers. Beautiful. Even Odishi for that matter.
Right.
You go east has Bihu, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
That's
Bihu. Right,
exactly.
right.
Very, very beautiful dance forms there.
Gorgeous,
I mean,
yeah.
so the country is, in a short span, I am unable to name more dance forms here. Bhangra for one, and Launi in Maharashtra.
Those are the folk
Lezhim.
dances.
Exactly. Lejhim again.
Those come under the folk arts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But still, India has a lot to
Yeah,
offer.
the
in terms of
spectrum
the
is
spectrum
huge.
is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. The minute you change locations, I mean, the tribals have their own dance forms
Absolutely,
and everything
yes, yes.
as well.
So one more thing, like you said, when people practice, like they aspire to be teachers, trainers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how lucrative is this profession after all? No, because I'll tell you, the reason I want to understand this better is because initially, like some time back, you just said that the art doesn't need us; we need the art, right?
Right.
But
According
then
to me.
my concern is if the profession is not fulfilling enough, then soon all, like let's say 50, 80 years down the line, or probably 100 years down the line, all
Yeah.
that would remain would be some content creators on YouTube teaching you how to do it. Because opening a shop and teaching students won't pay enough.
Well, that's already happening, for one.
Hmm.
Two, the thing is, there are still a lot of people who do it only for the art form and not for fame or for money. Three, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but I will still say it. Most of the people, the majority gender doing this art form are women. There are a lot of men, but most of them are women who are not the house runners. So for them, it's lucrative enough at the stage or the life that they have to lead. It's good enough. For me, the reason I would say it's not lucrative for me is because I do not like mass teaching. Because for me, teaching this art form is very important. And when you teach like to a mass of people,
I
like-
didn't intend to relate it directly to you. I'm just trying to understand, like individually.
it's lucrative. It's not that it's not lucrative, but
like you often come across your peers who aspire to be trainers. So
I have peers who are trainers. So it is a little difficult. I won't say it's good, but then again, I have seen people like my teachers and my gurus who have a great life and are extremely honest to the art too.
Right.
That is a very difficult combination to have.
That's a
because
that will soon become a rare commodity. I mean,
it is very rare.
they could, your guru, like I'm just saying, like could be probably the last or
One
the
of
second
the
last
yeah,
generation.
right.
For
Who
the
would-
authenticity.
True that. Very true.
Because soon, let's say someone opens a Bharatnatyam institution in Nerul and assume Nerul has no idea about what this dance form is.
I get you.
Then there is no authenticity, right?
That's already happened at a lot of places already.
Yeah.
It's already happened at a lot of places. But then that's what I'm saying. We feel bad that why is this art form being treated like that? But I genuinely, I was also at a stage of life when I was
Like
younger.
commercialized.
It is commercialized, but and also in the very wrong ways, because the fusion and all what they create is really very bad. I'm sorry to say, but that's a fact. So
Fusion as in?
fusion as in, they say that we are doing fusion with Bharatnatyam so that people know what Bharatnatyam is.
They're trying to
Promote it. And I
promote
really
it.
feel you don't need to spoil it to promote it. First of all, it doesn't need your promotion. It will survive.
It
Time
has
and
been
again-
surviving over
you-
time.
So I really feel that you don't need people for the art form to survive. Second,
But how so?
You need people. I'm not saying that, but I don't think
You don't need marketing, is maybe
you.
what she's trying to say. Oh no.
I'm
Because
saying you
that
do not
is
need
probably
to.
that is one of the ways to ensure that the art stays alive and it moves.
No, the
Hmm.
ideology of
places.
people saying that I am doing this for the art to survive, doing whatever they are doing,
That
justifying it in that way is
justifying
wrong.
the selfishness
The
basically.
real people, like many of my teachers, who are genuinely doing the art form and are not so well known in the world,
Yeah.
are actually doing the genuine thing of making the art
But then
survive.
you would genuinely want people like those to have a platform, right? Where
They do have their own platform in the niche audience that really respects and appreciates them. I
That is
used to think this when I was young, that they deserve a bigger platform, but then they have got what they deserve. What they don't deserve is the false applause. What they
Hmm.
don't deserve is the false
Sympathy
thing
and
from social media
that
that
yeah, yeah.
comes.
isn't that what is happening in the education sector itself? It's like hyper commercialized, and teaching is an art.
It really
It
is.
needs to come from within. Like for me, I have been I used to teach piano, I used to teach coding, but what I learned from teaching is, like, there has been incidents where my students wouldn't understand what I'm trying to say,
Right.
and the whole day would be ruined for me, because I'm putting in efforts, I'm trying to make them understand things,
Yeah.
but they're not able to understand it
Hmm.
properly. So I would take completely a day off just to think from their perspective. And it just was an enlightening moment that I had to come down to their thinking level,
Right.
and I had to place myself at that position, and then I had to teach. And I was like, okay, let's go, let's try this up.
Hmm.
And I just tried it, and there the happiness, the sheer happiness I got was, like, their eyes started
Right.
lighting up, because they started understanding things.
Right.
That was the moment I understood teaching, how
Is
teaching is an art, actually.
it's an art and a responsibility.
Exactly,
Not just a
exactly.
responsibility, but what you also tend to derive out of it. So a lot of our, just say, take for instance, if you go back to your school right now and meet the same teachers who've taught you, right?
Right.
I mean, they will have certain level of emotions also with it.
Right.
They'll ask you, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you're a doctor right now.
Yeah.
So for them, I mean, the pay, sure, that does matter in these days, but the whole satisfaction that, you know what, this kid has learned from me and now this kid is
She's there.
flourishing.
Yeah,
I mean, not a better feeling, right?
that's
Yeah.
true.
So
And it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a
true
lot
that.
of sacrifice in a way that, you give your life to teaching something, spreading your knowledge rather than you getting somewhere with your own knowledge.
No, so the land.
can you repeat?
You choose to spread your knowledge or what you have learned rather than you flourishing with your own knowledge. There are a lot of teachers, if we see in schools and colleges, who are very learned,
Yeah.
who could have done very huge careers on their own, but they chose teaching,
Mhm.
which is kind of a sacrifice.
Now,
Unless we know for sure. I mean, the confidence is also one more thing. Like a lot of
No. You
good men.
can actually feel that, because when I was studying in engineering, I never came across any kind of professors who were, like, who were teaching, and it would, like, you just understand like that. I There was this, just I still can remember, there was this only one professor. She see, so to teach in engineering, you need to be a PhD holder.
Oh,
You need to have PhD in specific
yeah.
field of work.
Hmm.
So she was not having a PhD in that, but in every lecture I would be a backbencher. But in her lecture, I would be on the first bench just to understand. And she used to teach so good, so good. I was like, I wouldn't say completely in love with her or something like that.
I was just going to
But
ask that.
Yeah. The
no,
teachers
not in
are
the
our
that
His
crush.
way.
face is lighting up.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Just by thinking of it.
I'm
But yeah,
on.
I
I'm
sure. I think I
literally. You
know
guys can see I'm on fire.
all the way.
So,
All the,
so yeah. So she used to teach so good.
yeah.
Afterwards, I got to know, like, she discontinued, or she just left the institution. And
Hmm.
later on, I came to know, because she was not having a PhD degree,
Yeah.
she couldn't be in the institute for much longer.
It is unfair.
It is unfair, yeah. Like, losing such kind of teacher is a very, like, after that I don't remember I ever sat on the first bench.
No, so
I've been
I
a
mean, you
backbencher.
can't quantify teaching, right? I mean, how
Yeah.
good are you a teacher? How do you quantify it
You
with some
can't,
degree?
but
as
you can
such, or-
feel, you
Yeah.
can understand, like,
No, so I'm
at
not
a
talking
snap
about
of
you.
finger.
In
Yeah.
general,
In
the
general,
education
in
system.
general, yeah.
Sure, you have a B.Ed or
Mhm.
M.Ed, right? I mean, that's the
Mhm.
degrees that you typically
Exactly,
have to be a
exactly.
teacher.
Exactly.
But the way you teach, I mean, that's very individualistic as an individual, how good
Exactly.
they can be. But this land, right? I mean, India
Mhm.
as a subcontinent or as a country is the land where gurus were the penultimate,
Hmm.
right? I mean, any guru, if that person says this is how it is going to happen, period.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
they had that much level of stature in the society typically, but nowadays it's become,
Nowadays it is majoritively, it is not
exactly.
the same scenario.
I mean, and I've been hearing from my friends who have children and all that, teachers aren't doing the right things and they're ready going
So
back to.
I feel that is also a very good way. I mean, because
Hmm.
there
As in-
has to
as
be
in
a
what?
point. I mean, not in all facets of life, but then there are certain fields where you can actually question your teacher, right? If you're not able to understand or
Yeah,
agree.
I have done
And
that.
that's how
because
like we came to know, right? Guru, like, see, gurus, I feel, are meant more when it comes to yoga, dance,
No.
Bharatnatyam.
The term guru means teacher.
No, the
right?
true essence of guru, mean
Hmm.
guru.
Okay.
Like, respect and the sheer knowledge they
Mhm.
have. But the same thing I personally don't feel when it comes to education domain.
it
The
is
teachers, I mean, how many of them are good humans? Let's forget how good a teacher they are.
So-
Like you were saying, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly, because now there is another incident related to that.
I feel because giving opportunity, like everyone getting a shot at becoming a guru, a teacher,
Mhm.
is what spoiled the lot, probably.
So there is one thing, more than the guru, it is the guru tattva.
Yeah.
Okay, it is
That
not the
means-
person who you find, who you see the guru. Like, it's not he's teaching me, so he's my guru. It doesn't work like that. He's teaching me something. Hence, I have that guru tattva. So it is you're respecting or giving, surrendering or giving that utmost respect or maryada, whatever you call it, or bowing down to what is happening between him and you, not to him as a person. You may not like him as a human being, but when you surrender to that guru tattva, only then will you learn. So if he's not nice as a human being, delete that factor for the time you are learning from that person.
Hmm.
That is actually what our Indian culture teaches us. We think, like, of course, because I have my peers who are not from the dance community, they don't. So for me, I don't talk much in front of my guru, not because I can't talk. It is a sheer respect I have for him. And they're like, why are you behaving like this? If there's something wrong, just talk to him. I'm like, no, that's not me. For someone who's teaching me this art form, I
Yeah.
will not talk back. I will not say this. That's my respect to the art form, and I'm getting it from him.
Mhm.
That is the understanding of it. So, of course, you do not put a person at the pedestal because you never know if the person deserves the pedestal or no. But you put what you're learning at the pedestal.
Exactly.
You will surrender to the learning and learn it better. That is the understanding of Guru Tattva. When it comes to spirituality, absorb what they are teaching. You want to idolize them or no is really a choice. You don't have to idolize them to get spiritual. So that, I think that understanding is a little warped.
Mhm.
Everybody, Indian system is like guru, guru, guru. No, it's not. It's the Guru Tattva.
Hmm.
If we
It's
just
actually like
understand
that.
that basic thing, learning becomes so much
That is
less of a struggle. Otherwise, they're like, I don't like this person. Why am I learning from you? I want to question you.
True.
And what happens is you miss out on the learning. That person is still going to be that person. What you're missing out is on the learning.
Now I'll ask you one thing about this. So, in terms of questioning, if you're questioning the Guru Tattva
Mhm.
or the questioning of the skill
Hmm.
or the art form that you're
Mhm.
learning, would that be a fair thing to do? Or asking really, asking the Guru questions in terms of maybe getting more personal with him, will that be something?
So asking a question when you're in doubt is fine. Cross questioning because you think you're right
Hmm.
is not fine when you're a learner.
Yeah.
Because when you're learning, you have to have a clean mind.
Hmm.
You cannot have prejudice idea already and then go and question thinking whether he's right or wrong. Then you're not really learning.
Exactly.
You're having a discussion or a debate.
then
If you
then it
cross
is
question,
coming from
that's
the ego.
Exactly.
I
So
would
then you don't have a clean
say.
slate. So
Yeah.
learning becomes difficult. That's the
Exactly.
only problem. It's not right or wrong. Your learning
Exactly.
gets
You are
hampered.
learning.
That's
Yeah.
about it. When it comes to us, so for me personally, even when I was studying homeopathy or even when I was studying dance, you do get doubts. You do think this is right or wrong. But I really feel if you surrender to the learning, your questions will be answered at the time it's supposed to be answered. If
Agreed.
you just be on the journey, even sometimes few years later, oh, this is why.
Hmm.
But if you want to know it then and there, you may still know it, but it will not go that deep. So just flow with the journey. Everything gets answered, but just flow with the journey.
So I guess
That's
this
more
is
important.
one thing which Rolls Royce was talking about the other day, that he had a moment on the dance floor where he actually it hit him that, oh yeah, that's why we do this way, right?
About
That day you were dancing with someone and you said that
exactly.
yeah.
So what happened actually? I've been learning since almost Latin dance 4-5 months, something like that.
Hmm.
So for me, when I joined Latin dance after you asked me to join
Yeah.
Latin dance, join kar lo bhai, join kar lo.
Yeah.
It's like finally I gave in. I was like, okay, I'll
Hmm.
join in. The first class I went to, I just wanted to fuck off from there
Yeah.
because my anxiety was hitting all time high,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, like it's a close hold and this and that. I don't want to. These were the thoughts that were coming. I don't want to come off as a creep
Right.
or something like
Hmm.
that. And I don't have any history in dancing, first of all. So I was like, fuck. I just wanted to run away from that.
Hmm.
But somehow, I made up my mind and I was like, no, you are going to stick. You are going to stick here. You're going to go through the process. Go through it.
Hmm.
What is the worst thing that would happen? So I stuck around, and for 4 months, 5 months, I learned it. There was this something that was like, whenever I would dance, there would be a lot of gap while dancing because there was certain kind of mental blockage.
Yeah.
Or something. I tried to ask.
Gap while dancing, as in?
As in, it's a partner dance, right?
It's
So
a partner
the
dance.
distance between
So you
the two
hold your
partners as
partner
such.
and usually
It's a form of intimate dancing also, to a smaller extent. But
to a smaller
it
extent.
gets very awkward, yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, it
even
was,
I would find it very
So,
difficult to just.
I guess even I was in that space initially, but if you're outside your head, I don't think it's a challenge as such. I mean, you
Mhm.
so, I mean, since we have a woman in the room,
I was just going to wonder when it'll come to me.
exactly.
When will
but
the awkward come to me?
no, because a woman will know how you are holding her hand as such. Even
Exactly.
the
Women
intentions
can,
are right there.
like, women have that kind of sixth sense to just like,
Exactly.
even before you hold her hand, she can get a whiff
I'm
out
so
of
glad
it.
you'll know this.
You haven't heard
Seriously,
about
I
it?
mean, women know.
Seriously.
Of course we know.
They,
What do you know?
even before you can speak up,
Come on,
they can
just
get a
come back a
come-
bit, basically. So what you're saying is the intention with which you're
Yeah.
holding.
So
yeah.
the minute you hold the person, the hand or the stance in which you're dancing, she already knows a lot about you. All right?
Yeah. Like with what intention you have asked me to dance? Do you want to
No,
have a
it's a-
conversation with me? Do you want to get physically close to me, hence you're dancing? Or have you been watching me from the side?
This
and then
scenario
asked me-
is for the socials, the parties that
Yeah,
you
The
any
social
form of couple
Latin,
dancing.
even
couple
Any
if it
form
is
of couple
classes.
dancing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Partner
Yeah.
work.
I have
outside
actually
the dance
spoken
class,
this
basically.
to anytime, anywhere you dance. I mean, not just restricted to the dance floor. If social dancing, anybody comes and asks me for a dance and holds my hand, I understand he's genuinely wanting to dance or wants to have a conversation
What are the
with me.
parameters? I mean, if you could, just
Parameters
happens
for-
quickly, right? I mean, to come to that conclusion.
yeah.
Well, it's
Instant.
seconds.
Could you just slow it down, break it down? I mean, what are the things that triggers?
So
Like body language, eyes.
body language, and we know before a guy asks, how long has he been looking at us to ask?
Sorry.
How long has he been looking at us to come and ask? Yeah, we know.
So you
Our
ask
eyes are
or you
scared.
understand. So you observe
We
everything
observe- we
in
are,
the room.
Yeah, so
Yep.
at least especially for me, we're looking all around the dance floor, who's going to ask, who's not. There are many times when I know a guy is walking up to me and I don't want to dance with him, I'll go to some friend. I don't want to
Yeah.
dance. I don't want to dance. Take me,
That has
take me.
happened.
I've
That
done
has
it to
happened.
him. Take me away,
Yep,
take me
yep.
away.
Oh.
I don't want to dance with. So that's happened. It's just an instinct that we have. I'm not saying we're bullseye right on the instinct,
Correct.
but I prefer going with my instinct.
It's
No, so it's
some,
90 to 95% they're correct. I mean,
And
yeah,
it's-
exactly. Women have that kind of sixth sense, or their intuition is extremely strong.
so that
When
is
it
what I
comes to-
realized later, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
only a creep in my head,
Exactly.
but I am a
yeah.
dancer in general.
Exactly.
yeah,
So
I'll vouch
that
for
is-
that.
Exactly.
That is something was like, kept going on inside my head,
Mm.
and I was somehow for almost 4 to 5 months I was not able to close that gap.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a lot of resistance I was feeling, and it is not even the problem of the female.
Correct.
It is my own problem that I'm creating,
Right.
and it is happening unconsciously.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then we went to Goa,
Yep.
and I told you, like, okay, teach me some, like, couple of more moves.
Yep.
And like that was the time. After 4-5 months I left dancing, and then I got back again at it, like without going to classes,
Right.
and we practiced a little, like while spending our time in hostel.
Yep.
And you and Pallavi
Yep.
both, like, I started practicing it with Pallavi,
And with me also at
and,
times.
Oh.
yeah. And that was the moment it something clicked in.
Yeah.
And when I was on the dance floor, the resistance completely vanished. I was like,
Exactly.
there was this moment I was like, fuck it, I'm like, going to close this thing now.
Exactly.
Like, this is getting on my nerves right now, and I'm not able to focus on the dance form itself.
Right.
So many things, and I just broke it, and I was like, okay. Now it is like, just like, clicking like anything.
Exactly.
And
That's
that was when I came to you and I told you, oh, fuck, this just happened out of nowhere. I was very hell bent on that, like, I wanted to break this thing.
True.
And it just happened.
Yeah.
And I was so happy, like, there was like a couple of guys over there. They were standing for the chance, like, some guy would come and ask him out for the dance. And I was like, while I was standing there, like, give me your hand. Let's go for the dance.
You took a guy to dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
I just
wondering if you
wanted
made a
to-
mistake while talking. You
not
said,
at all,
but
not
it is
at all.
actually you
Not
asked a
at all.
guy.
That guy is such a
No, I
like,
believe you. There are many guys who follow very well.
Oh yeah.
Brilliantly, yeah.
I'm talking about Dinesh.
Oh yeah. Dinesh.
He's such
He's a
he will-
trained
belly dancer.
Oh, you should see
I'll show
him
you.
how
I'll
he
show you the
dances.
video.
Please
you
do.
just see. It's
He's
like vibrating
amazing.
like anything.
He is vibing. And even
Seriously.
I asked him to follow one dance. Amazing. He's never
Amazing,
done
amazing.
kizomba in
Was-
his life.
So that was the moment he was standing like at a corner, and he would have expected, like, someone would come and, like, ask for the dance. And I was like, I'm going to dance with him. I was like, why are you standing like this? Come, give me your hand and let's dance.
And he's following
And
like anything.
he was such a smooth follower. Oh,
That's cute.
shit.
I mean, that's.
I
very
danced
rare.
like, back to back, like, 3-4 dance more
Exactly,
of
because
dances with him.
Now you
I just
actually
loved it.
disassociated that
Exactly.
hand with the creepy thing, and
Exactly.
you're just dancing for
There was nothing like
dance of it.
it
Yeah.
just clicked, and I was like, I'm going for this. now.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
way too much of battle in our own head.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
I guess the only way to conquer that battle is by
But-
just being persistent at what you do.
Exactly. You have to prove yourself, like, you can do it.
Yep, I
Sort
guess
of.
that's the only conversation which you need to
exactly,
have. That
exactly.
yeah, I can do that,
Yeah.
and later on it's magic.
It's
Everything just starts falling in place for you.
a moment of enlightenment.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dancing does that, man, to you, and especially partner dancing, right?
Partner
because
dancing. Yeah.
for a follower, it's a lot of surrender, because
Exactly. Yeah.
A lot of trust.
oh yeah, trust as well.
A lot of trust.
A lot of trust.
But surrendering, I mean,
Yeah.
now what happens is in a lead's head, the person who's leading, usually a male or a female in that case, they have certain things which are going on in their head already. They're managing time, they're managing the space that you shouldn't go and hit into someone else, or they're managing others, they're managing that the follow is looking beautiful while she or he is dancing.
Yeah.
All those things are already going on. And
That-
whenever there is no surrender, you are still, you get a jolt. Hey, what just happened?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you
exactly.
tend
It is
to
like,
realize that.
even if I want to hit on that person, I'll be more of like focused on the dance itself. Like, I want to dance.
Exactly. That's
And
what
the
happens,
hitting
right?
part will come sometime later. Like, I
Exactly.
just want to dance. let's just go crazy dancing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 'Cause that's mostly it.
That
And,
is when, like,
and your face lights up already,
Exactly,
right? So the
exactly.
person is already wondering.
like,
Wow.
is he coming to hit on me, or is he really
he's
wants to
ladat
dance?
only.
Yeah. and when you have that kind of focus, like, you just want to dance,
Yeah.
it just comes out of your personality. It just flows out of your personality. Even if you
Exactly.
want to hit on that person, that's okay, but you just, the way you ask for the hand,
Would be very
the
different.
way you hold your partner,
Yeah.
because you are focused on the dance, you play all the right cards.
Yeah, that's what we understand.
Yeah, exactly. From the
What? That was a very short answer to the very good question by AB Chan, but not fair. But yeah, what typically happens? Maybe if you could share something in terms of a follow that while you're dancing and surrendered to the dance. I mean, what's the typical headspace
So
you're
if it's someone
usually
you've danced with before, it's of course much more comfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're dancing with someone new, but you see they're dancing beautifully on the floor,
Yeah.
you automatically surrender because you know this dance would be good.
Exactly.
But sometimes when you're unsure of the intention, whether it's pure or not, you don't surrender completely because you don't want to get that physically close.
Yeah, and you're already on your guard.
Guard is up most of the time.
Yeah.
That is part of being a woman. It has nothing to do with the opposite person.
Yeah.
It's just part of
that is
being
in
a
the
woman.
nature itself.
Yeah.
That-
But so that also depends on the vibe we get. But many times I haven't gone through it because see, I've been dancing since childhood.
Yeah.
But I have girls who are also in the same mind space that am I dancing well? Am I not dancing well? Who's looking at me? Who's not looking at me?
Exactly.
So for them to then surrender to the follow, I think becomes a little
True.
difficult. That is also a part. It's not just all the time we are judging. No, that's not true. We also have our own understanding that whether I'm good enough, whether I'm not good enough. I have always been comfortable dancing, whether I'm good enough or not.
Exactly.
That
So
is
for me, I'm just comfortable dancing.
that
So-
same goes up
Exactly.
for guys as well, because
But there are other girls who also are newly introduced to dance, so they're not very sure.
very sure.
So
yeah.
that is also where the resistance comes from. It's not always y'all. It's again within. The resistance is
the
always
resistance
within.
is within. Yeah.
So
Have you ever had a moment while you're dancing that you actually felt that you're at a different space or a dimension altogether?
all the time.
People have just vanished.
Yes.
I mean, even the audience or anyone
Yes.
in the social party as such.
So social party, I've had those moments, but more when I'm dancing on stage as a classical dancer.
Yeah.
So I most of the time I have been performing since the age of 12, 13.
Yeah.
And I've mostly performed solo. I've hardly done group for that matter. I still have stage fear till date.
Right.
I say, please put the audience lights off. I can't see anyone. I'm dancing for myself. 5 minutes on stage, moment I'm like warmed up properly and nothing is creaking anymore, I'm lost. Then you put audience light
Then
on, you put it off, somebody talks, someone's phone rings, people get up and go, it's empty, it's full, doesn't matter.
Wow.
Nothing matters after that, because then, and that experience on stage is beautiful, because many times when I've come back from stage, my mother says, where were you 1 hour? When you were on stage, you went somewhere else, because she's my mother, she knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that experience of going there is beautiful. And of course, when you're on stage, the lights, the music, the attire, you are just
In the zone.
one with
You're
what
just
you're
one.
doing. And that's
There is
really a blessing to
neither
experience.
the dance is separate from you, nor you are separate from the dance.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't even distinguish like what.
And
like,
it's
you're
something you
just one.
can't,
Yeah.
I can't put it into words as such, actually, the experience.
But have you found it to be a bit more healing as such as well?
A
as an
lot
experience?
healing. I think a lot of my therapy has come from just
Just dancing,
during
yeah.
practice.
Like there are.
If you're so mentally messed up, just practice for an hour. It's like, they say, go for a run. It'll give you positive energy.
Yeah.
This is like another brilliant version of it. It's for me at least, because my dance is my meditation.
Right.
So just practice for 1 hour. Even, when you're so messed up, you just go for class and come back, you're altered as a person.
Exactly.
It just helps you heal. It helps you rejuvenate. The same word that I used. You
And
come back to the person you are. You come back to reality with a freshness.
So in Mumbai, there is this socials, right? They have this tagline called as your weekly dose of salsa.
Oh.
I mean, it is so apt. I mean, just once a week, you're going there and you're
dancing it out.
Exactly, blowing off the steam and
Yeah.
all that everyday's grind and all that stuff and a lot of thoughts that you have. You're actually at peace
Right.
in those moments. And then once you're back, you're all charged up.
You're all charged up, yes.
Although physically tired, but still charged up.
Yes, true.
Now, I know you're a travel bug also. You love
I try to
traveling.
be.
Try. Okay. So we are being sincere here. Okay. Sure. No, but any experiences of you in travel and dancing, how has that worked out for you usually?
So most of my travel has happened because of the dancing. My best travel till date was I was blessed to perform for the Indian Army in Jammu.
Oh, wow.
So I performed for the Indian Army in Jammu, and just not Jammu. That was 6 hours from Jammu city, which is a place called Kishtawad. It's high up. Nobody goes there. I stayed in the army cantonment for a week.
Yeah, to acclimatize.
No.
Then?
The performance, and then I wanted to see the place. So they made me stay there like for a week.
Wow.
They took care of me and everything. Of course, the performance was in Jammu, so it's scenic. Scenic is a very small word to describe it. The stage was on a huge ground, and from stage I could see the mountains and the clouds.
Wow.
It was literally I'm dancing for the gods. Like it was sakshat in front of me. It was.
Wow.
It was. I don't know what I get blessed with. Who blessed me to get that experience? I have no idea. And of course, they took me in the army chopper. I saw glaciers. I went around the mountains. And because I performed for the Indian Army, they said, we'll take you around. So I was moving around in the gypsy.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
I went around in the army choppers. I fired the army guns, the AK-47s and everything. I was in the shooting range for like 2 hours. So because I went as a performing artist and as a guest, they said, we'll take care of you and whatever you want to do, let us know. So I was like, guns, chopper, food and all, okay. I don't mind.
Focus on the things.
Yeah, I also asked them, can I drive the gypsy? That was a no. That was a no. But that was one of the great, because Kishtawad is really high up. And from Kishtawad, I went to Machel. If anybody knows, it's really high up. Nobody goes there even as a tourist. It's very difficult to get up there. And you need a chopper, special permission and whatnot to even go as a tourist.
Okay.
I went chalte ऐसे बैठ के gypsy में आधा रास्ता आधा chopper, everything was sorted to me. So whoever I tell I went to Machel, they're like, you went to Machel? How? I was like, very blessed I am.
Now everyone knows.
But that happened only because of the art form. That only and that performance offer came to me overnight. Next day I left for Jammu. It happened.
Right.
And the best part is I was this was 2017.
Okay.
And my mother was like, you are not going to Jammu alone in an army cantonment full of men. You're not going. I will pay my own charges and come with you, but you are not going alone. So I said, my mom will be accompanying me. I'll take care of her. You don't need to take care of her. No, if both of you are coming, we'll take care of both your travel. Stay. So my mother and me, it was not just me.
Oh.
Wow.
So that was how gracious they were. Yeah. Of course, I didn't charge for performing because it's the Indian Army. That is the littlest, smallest thing I can do. Yeah. But that is an experience of a lifetime, which many, many people are jealous of.
Exactly.
In
Me
the
too,
nice
right
way.
now. I'm just going to start learning Bharatanatyam for that. if that is what it takes.
Yeah, it'll take you 20 years later, maybe.
No, but that's actually a very good experience the way I see it. But
yes.
High on the altitude and amidst
the mountains, amidst the clouds. Like I have pictures. Before I went on stage, I stood behind and I took a picture and I sent my brother and my father because they're like, I'm like, this is the stage. And I'm like, wow, it's just the mountains. So the stage was higher, the audience was lower. You don't need to look at the audience. You just look at the mountains in the sky and just go for it. It's Just
You-
be
you
one
would
with
have been
nature.
at your full potential.
I wish that had happened. I don't know what happened because
like,
I
looking at such a scenic view and dancing,
just lived
not
that
even
dream.
realizing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So they have a saying, right? In Kashmir, if there's a heaven on earth, it's here, it's here, it's here.
Yeah. True.
Jammu and Kashmir. Yeah. Damn nice. And anything else in terms of, you've got a lot of travel stories to say from down
Any
south.
any haunting stories?
Haunting stuff. No, I don't do haunted stuff.
No, not haunted stuff.
No one
Yeah.
does or wants to. I mean, it just happens. You don't seem to be a believer. So, do you believe in
In
Ghosts and
ghosts?
okay, I'm too
spirits?
afraid to believe or not believe.
Yeah.
If you tell me it's there, I won't check. I'll run.
Oh,
Like-
okay.
So yeah. So
AB
I
Chan
don't
wants
know if
to-
it's
Exit
true or
stage
not.
right.
Yeah.
AB
Good
Chan
for you.
wants
Find
to,
out. I'm gone.
He wants to know about some Tangavali stories. Kitte Verde.
So travel as such, I mean, related to dance, non-related to dance.
Non-related to dance, but there is certainly going to be dance with you wherever you go, right?
Yeah, mostly yes. Well, I've traveled. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you call me a travel bug, but yeah, I've traveled a little bit. For
Stop
my
being sincere.
no, I'm being honest.
So all the listeners can follow her on Instagram, and then you guys tell me if she's a travel bug or not.
I'm just good at putting stories.
Ah, get
That's
lost.
all.
Get lost.
No, I just came back from a vacation. That's
Exactly,
about it.
right? And
That's
tomorrow
all.
you're still going back for another.
No,
the hell?
one break a year is I can give myself.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to take breaks,
Right.
but you do travel.
I do like traveling because mainly my reason for I love peace and solace. So I live
Exactly.
also alone in Chennai. And when I'm alone, people say, "What do you do?" Because I don't have a TV at home either.
Hmm.
I was like, I sit and I stare at a wall. And when I'm staring at a wall, or I'm staring at the beach, or I'm staring at the water, or I'm staring at a river, or staring at a mountain, I'm just there
It's
and going
it's
back.
very blissful.
It's blissful, and I'm rehearsing in my mind. There's mental dancing going on.
Hmm.
I'm doing that piece again and again in my head. I'm doing that piece again and again. For me, that is what I do most of the time. So I just like being. That's very important for me. Like I need to just be.
And be in the present moment.
Yeah. Like even before a performance, I stopped talking to anybody around me. Now it's become less. When I was younger, I was much more moody. I just don't like anybody talking to me. I've become little of an adult now and I'm tolerant.
Tolerant. Okay.
But
Sure.
it's like, don't talk to me. I'll keep on doing that in my head and, thinking, what will I do on stage? And should I do this or should I do that? It's just that conversation with yourself is so important. For me, especially, that conversation or talking to myself is very, very important. So there are many times that I'm sitting alone and I actually talk to myself. I look crazy. My mom's also a little scared I'm going crazy. But
Hmm.
I think that is very important to connect to yourself.
That's what
right.
it takes.
Yeah, it does.
No, so interestingly, you had a very good segue. What are the typical types of people you've come across in dancing? I mean, what's the first person
Let's
that
start
comes in
with the
your mind
freaky
apart
ones.
from me out here?
You're talking
yeah.
social dancing?
No, any dancing in general, or usually, so you have certain peers of yours,
Mhm.
maybe certain juniors who have recently joined your
Mhm.
classes,
Mhm.
or maybe say a lot of teachers or other peers from other cities or other dance schools as such. So how has that been for you?
Um, very confusing for that matter.
Okay.
Because everybody who comes to dance or teach or imbibe or share
Mm.
comes with a very different intention. Somebody's intention is money, somebody's intention is fame, somebody's intention is Instagram, somebody's intention is running from home,
Mm.
somebody's
It's a form of
intention is to get
escapism.
close to the teacher, somebody's
Yeah.
intention. So when intentions are different, the output is different even when you're doing the same thing.
Right.
It's,
So if
it
10 people are doing the
reflects.
same thing, exactly the same
The
thing,
body cannot lie.
the intent changes it.
Changes. Yeah.
And what has taught me to understand the intent and learn from it, because it's not always wrong or right. You learn from them
Mm.
what to do and what not to do, both.
Mm.
comes from the fact that I'm a homeopathic practitioner, because that's how we look at people. That's how we read people. That's what we
Okay.
try to understand. And for everybody's intent, they are right in their own way. Nobody's wrong. They're right in their own way. It's what you want to take from them, or how much energy you want to take from them or give to them.
Yeah.
That's
That's
just the
very true.
point
Mhm.
over there. So yes, lot of different intentions around me,
Hmm.
but I think you stick to your own track.
Just that how people are.
Yeah,
You cannot. You can just look at them like they're some kind of chemicals. They have their own
exactly.
properties, and
Yeah,
it's just
and
grounded in realism.
and
That's it.
what I was when I was 18 or 20 is very different from what the 18 and 20-year-olds are now.
Hmm.
So when those kids
What do you
in
mean by that?
class, thinking wise, guru tattva wise,
Good or bad?
I don't think I would say bad, but I'm not right to say that also.
But that's what you feel. So
That's what I feel, because I am extremely traditional when it comes to the art form.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
Virat knows
actually,
me
you
much
seem
more.
very
I'm
traditional.
Virat knows how traditional,
Exactly.
but he also knows how crazy I am. So
Mm.
I still go social dancing. I still
You
wear.
have the flair for it. That's a separate
Yeah,
thing.
that's
But you have a certain said respect for the dance form.
yeah. It's
way
more than being traditional for me.
Hmm.
I respect the art form
for
for
what
me,
it is and
for
and
what it has given me in life, and I can never not let that. For me, it's that. But people feel I can do what I want, which is also right. There's no wrong. So that's what I see in different people, the intentions with which they
No,
come.
so do you think they actually tend to miss out on the finer things? Is that something fair to say? Because
it
I've
would be
felt that.
judgmental of me to
No,
say
I've
that.
felt that because
They do. But see, a lot of people don't look for finer things in life.
exactly.
They're not looking for it. So if they miss out on it, for them, it's okay. It's okay.
Hmm.
It's what you are looking for. We are looking for finer things. We are looking for bliss.
Hmm.
They're not. They're looking for something else.
Exactly.
They find what they're looking for. We hopefully
So
find.
I would straight away pick up your template and apply to social dancing absolutely the same. And I've come
Right.
across people with certain intentions that
Absolutely.
they're dancing, and I mean it's seen in the dance, right? The way they're trying to dance, or maybe are dancing, or I don't know what they're doing. But when it comes to and I typically feel very very disheartened because I want to share this with the whole world, right? I mean the finer things that you can get out of this. But then again, now when I speak to you, I think I am more at peace with the fact that I shouldn't really bother myself with that conversation.
True.
Maybe I should focus more on what I'm getting out of it.
True.
And that's kind of the best part of it. Nice. So that's a very good scene. But okay, so in our podcast, now you're talking about the 18-year-olds. We usually have the segment where we sort of kind of try to share with the central topic as to what you would say to the 18-year-old Arundhati. I mean, studying,
Oh.
college, and if there was one message that you would ideally want your 18-year-old self to know back then.
I think the 18-year-old you would have been more strict,
No,
committed.
no.
Maybe you've just
People
chilled out.
think I was a very academic person. I was not.
No, not academic, but very much committed, like
Hmm.
purpose oriented, something like that. I mean, maybe you've just chilled out in the past 2-3 years. You've
She's
become
just
more,
reflecting right now on your conversations. I can see it in her eyes.
you've just become a little more relaxed now. You understand, like, what your perception means. You can lead your own life.
Yeah.
Probably the
little-
18-year-old self was more a part of a mold.
I was very confused because I was doing two very important things, studying medicine and dancing, and I was giving my 100% to both. And I never knew what will I do ahead in life, because till today, people question me, so what is your profession? So I'll tell them I'm a dancer and I'm a doctor. So what is your profession? Damn it, both are my professions. But to an 18-year-old, that's a very confusing question. So what are you going to pursue? Can't you see I'm pursuing two things?
Exactly.
But to an 18-year-old, that's very confusing, because 18-year-olds, you don't know where you are in life.
Exactly.
So the advice I would give myself is, you got it. It's going to turn out exactly like you want. Because it really did. Because honestly, truly, and really did. I wanted to pursue both, and I always thought one half of the day I'll do this, one half of the day I'll do that. Like, you know, those dumb 18-year-olds, we sit and decide.
Exactly, yeah.
And there was actually a point in my life which my friend reminded me when I was in college. I told her, I want to go and live alone and do my dance and set up my practice all on my own. I'm going to live alone one day. She's like, really? You want to live alone? That time I was,
And you manifested
and I
that,
forgot it. I actually forgot about this.
Hmm.
She called me a few months ago. Aru, you said no, you wanted to live alone and pursue both. How did you manage to do it? I was like, damn, I wanted to do this and I've done
So
it.
you'll stay alone in Chennai.
I live alone
Oh,
there,
nice.
and I'm managing like my own life completely there, which is
Hmm.
I love doing it.
That's-
As difficult as it is, I love doing it.
It is
Exactly.
blissful to stay alone.
But
That's
I'm-
like
18-year-old Arundhati would never believe I would do this. I still don't believe that I could.
maybe you had
taking
the
care.
conviction that time.
And maybe you manifested it as well.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
manifested. You
Yeah.
you didn't have any second thought about it.
But I had a
Just-
family who was very courageous. They said, "You want to go? Go."
That's pretty
Mm.
good.
And that gave me courage. And I was like, I don't know what I learn, how well this, but
No, it's
made it
it's-
happen.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's very good to have that environment, right?
Yes,
that
yes,
conducive
man.
that
environment where
that is a definition of healthy environment.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, that's true.
Exactly. And you can actually step out and now you're learning from the land of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the
In the midst of
absolutely. And
yeah,
how is it typically in Chennai? Are there usually schools as such, or how does it?
yeah. There are schools.
Okay.
There are schools. There are teachers. There is everything.
Now, I've seen a few pictures of your school where
Yeah.
you know it looks very traditional, for lack of better words, and
It is.
it's amazing just to see. I mean, there are no ACs. Perhaps there are fans. I'm not sure.
No,
But
I don't like a fan when I'm dancing. I put it off if there is one
oh,
in
okay.
Chennai heat. Yeah. So
Yeah, she said she doesn't have AC at home.
yeah, I mean, natural environment is what we are made to live in.
Mm.
Why do we modify it?
Traditional in every sense.
Yeah.
We're spoiled for our own good.
She's the hit woman in Bharatnatyam world, I feel.
No, not really. Okay, my teacher's not listening to this.
We can't guarantee that.
I'll make sure.
We're vouching for this podcast to go to the moon for sure, but I hope he does.
We are just
Listen to say safe things then, for my sake.
we will censor it for you. That's okay.
No, but for
Like-
sure, I mean,
Then her teacher would wonder like, गाली वाली बग रही है ये क्या चल
No, it's
रहा है?
not like we asked you, like, did someone ever hit on you in your Bharatnatyam practice?
Um, there are less men where I am.
So you appreciate when they hit?
So when someone hits on me from whichever world, Bharatnatyam world or social world,
yeah.
the way you hit on me is
No, I mean, it's like, might not be very common, but then let's say you're going to the same, like it's pretty common in salsa world, I feel, right,
oh,
guys?
it's very common in the Bharatnatyam
You
world.
have to look at me that.
Sorry?
It's very common in the Bharatnatyam world. It
Oh.
looks like it's not, but it is.
Okay.
Everybody's still a human.
common and
I mean,
subtle.
even if you're doing a
Yeah.
traditional art, you're still human.
The aura is very serious. Like,
It is, but
In the
before and
training
after class,
center.
it's not, no? But yeah, I mean,
so the answer is yes.
yeah, of course.
Because
But
it's
you just take it
common.
graciously and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
like the way you
Yeah,
take other
exactly.
ones. That's all. Be respectful and let go of it.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah, please continue. Please continue.
Okay, I have to go to my clinic now. Please buzz off. Here are some sweet medicines for you.
No,
Buzz
just
off.
no. Our typical innocent smile, like we didn't understand you're hitting on me and walk
Yeah.
off. That's the safest thing to do.
So next time people hit on you,
What?
they know.
Yeah.
If she's walking away, guys, please go.
कौन सा माल फूका है वो हमें भी फूकना है.
अलग ही है.
Guys would be unsending their DMs to
All the sliding in are reconsidering.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's nice. But what are typical? So how does your what do you say? Your playlist look like usually whenever you're sort of sitting? Let's take a sneak peek
Oh,
into your
that's
playlist.
crazy because so there's a
Mm.
lot of Carnatic music.
Yeah.
Then there is a lot of Hindustani music because I love Hindustani music.
Mm.
There are old Hindi songs.
Mm.
There are Latin songs.
Gives few examples when you say Hindustani music.
Hindustani thumris
Mm.
and stuff like that. You're a little
Yeah,
lost.
it's Hindustani.
Come again.
Thumris,
Thumris,
ghazals.
ghazals,
Ghazals is a
yeah.
soft
These are
song.
Hindustani music.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hindustani,
They
like
come
traditional
under
Hindustani
Hindustani
music.
classical.
Hanji.
Yeah.
That and
Songs based on
It's
ragas and
Rag
ragas.
Durga,
Hanji,
Rag
Hanji,
Bhopali.
हाँ,
Okay.
हाँ,
Yeah.
वो सब. There'll be instruments from
Mm.
Carnatic violin to flute to Hindustani sarod and all of that.
Mm.
Then there will be a lot of Latin music, always. More of salsa, less of kizomba.
Yeah. Bachata, where's Bachata?
No,
He's feeling
no,
lost now.
I'm very much a salsa person.
Exactly.
Oh.
Salsa for the win.
Finally,
Yeah.
someone says that.
Oh,
Bachata
yeah.
is the one that's very sensual.
I'm the one. I'm,
No.
Kizomba is the most
Yeah.
central. If you see
I'm
it
the kind
that
of
way.
person who is always like, salsa. Oh my God. I need to get on the floor.
Always.
Yeah.
I thought it was Kizomba.
But there's something even more transcending than that. It's called zouk.
Zouk.
Transcending good,
it-
transcending
more
bad.
trans.
I mean, you are actually at a different plane altogether because the
It's a partner dance or
partner dance
Okay.
again, and the movements in sensual bachata that you see these days, or even kizomba that you see these days,
That is derived.
from zouk.
Mhm, mhm.
Even the original kizomba came from Angola, which
Yeah.
didn't have any element, any element of partner dancing.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's typically, I mean, that's where the zouk came in, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where even the music that people were actually playing during zouk was about zouk, and kizomba has very similar beats. They say zouk and kizomba have had a very healthy exchange in terms of the dancing styles, but zouk is not just sensual on a very sexual or a very physical level, but at a different plane you actually lose yourself into the music. The music is still 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 in the beats as a form, but I mean the beats are very loud when you listen to a typical zouk music as such. The only I mean that's what I've heard from everyone who's teaching dance in India or Mumbai as such. It used to be something of sort of a fad back then in India. Now it's a kind of lost its essence. But zouk requires a lot of space to dance. That's the only bit. So think about it. It's a sensual dance, but it needs so much of space to move around, right? So usually sensual dances are very grounded and in place and everything. But with zouk, it's more of circular, but needs way a lot of space than you can really think to dance. And you've seen the Mumbai parties. You
Mhm.
barely have place to
Mhm.
even step. So yeah, I mean that's as though you're dancing in the local train, but yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. We're our local for the win. But yeah, so I guess there's one more section. I'm not sure if this applies here, but I'll still take a jab at it. Um, so what we have as a section in our podcast is what are the typical type of resources that you usually consume. So during the podcast you mentioned of songs, that's one, but apart from that, do you consume certain books, or do you listen to certain people speak as such, like a podcast, or maybe like say any specific movies or anything that you would want the listeners to know that you know what, if you're getting on a dancing journey, these could be say certain good help guides or something of that sort for that matter. But I mean purely from a resources standpoint, that in your free time, usually what do you usually consume?
Watch people that inspire you,
Okay.
for one, and use technology for that. Because you learn a lot just watching. Of course, watching live is the best.
Yeah.
Again, I will keep going back to classical dance because that is what
Exactly.
I do.
Mm.
So one, I love watching people I'm inspired from, and I can watch them again and again, the same video again and again, and find out new things that they did again and
Exactly.
again. because that's a
Exactly.
huge
Can you drop in
learning.
a few names?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
My
only.
guru for one, I can.
Name?
His name is Shijit Krishna. So
Okay.
I can watch his videos over and over and over and over and over and again.
Yeah.
One, because I'm highly obsessively inspired by him.
Mm.
So for me to watch itself, I feel it's a blessing that I'm getting to even watch him.
Mm.
Learn from him is another dimension altogether.
Mm.
That one. I am a huge fan of Sujata Mohapatra, who's an Odyssey exponent.
Yep.
And for me, she's an ultimate dancer. I can watch her do anything. So I watch her a lot. Other things are so I keep a tab of lecture demonstrations happening live.
Right.
That can be on Talam, it can be on Abhinaya, it can be not just dance per se, but the accessories to dance,
Mm.
those kind of things.
So those are like master classes as such, or
They're just lecture demonstration. They may master classes. They can be a lot of things. And when it comes to Bharatanatyam, we have a lot of dance theory. A lot. So, just keep referring to books, reading books, and stuff like that. And surround yourself with people of similar mind.
Mm.
That is very important. And keep getting inspiration every day. That's your resource. I think inspiration should be your resource rather than something material, because you watch and learn a lot
That's
even
true.
when you're
That's
not dancing.
yeah.
So that's one thing very important for me per se.
Okay. How about you guys, Rolls Royce, maybe Chad?
For me, when it comes to dancing, I go through a lot of Instagram. There are so many good guys who are teaching bachata
Yeah.
and salsa. I For now I have seen a lot of video. I keep forwarding it to you as
Yeah,
well.
I know you.
They are doing it so good, and simple things, very fundamental and simple things, and they are doing it so good.
Yep.
Now what I've thought is I will watch one move that they are teaching, and I'll go for socials for 2 weeks, and I'll just do that.
Mm.
At least I'll start ingraining those things.
Yeah.
And I'll give it enough space, time for it to
It to
develop into
develop
myself.
and
Yeah.
flourish.
And eventually it will it will be completely unconscious for me to follow. Right now when I'm dancing, I have to count. Even like I don't even mentally count. I'm saying, like, while dancing in the socials,
Mm.
I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. And I've stopped giving a fuck about what the other person is thinking about. I just want to be into the dance. I'll count if I want to.
Count out loud, you mean?
I'll count out loud.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the other person is thinking, but for me to effectively lead, I need to follow the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And that is one thing. Another thing is I'm consciously thinking about is learn one thing, practice one thing, at least take one move, learn that, and practice that at home, and then go for the socials, maybe a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and just do that, like combined with what I've previously learned.
Mm.
And through some more time, eventually it will it will be automatic for me. That is
True.
one I'm consciously putting in, thinking about it in all my awareness.
Yeah.
So for me, that is the thing, that is the next direction I want to go into, instead of seeing a lot of videos and not doing anything at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there is this there was this study done by a few doctors, okay, and what they did was they put certain I don't know what you call it, you'll be able to name it better, Arundhati, that these are certain patches are attached to a wire, and if any of your muscles fire up, it gives a reading on one of their graphs as such, okay. So they'll actually put maybe around 10 or 15 odd such patches all over your body, and they asked a person to play a particular sport. Okay, I guess that was baseball back then, and he was actually pitching the ball, right? So they saw a particular, no, if it was that or it was running, either or, it was I guess on the, I guess it was the cardio machine, what is it called, treadmill, is where they were asked to run. Whenever they were running, a certain muscle groups were firing up, and it was seen on the computer that this is what is happening. And then they were asked to sit on a chair,
Mhm.
and they were asked to think that they are running.
Yep.
The same set of muscles fired up
Mhm.
in those moments.
Wow.
That's
And
called
it's an actual
that's called psychosomatization. That
Psychosomatization.
can
yeah.
happen in something like this when you're doing mental practice. It can
Mhm.
also happen in a state of disease. So when you're
Okay.
extremely stressed, extremely tensed chronically, that manifests in the form of disease.
Okay.
Right.
That's where holistic healing comes into the picture, that you treat the subconscious mind rather than the physical self.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's one part of it. The second part of it, when you're doing mental practice, your mental practice is to that depth
Mhm.
that whether or not you're actually practicing, you still are internally practicing.
Exactly.
Correct.
That is how
That
it
is
works.
something you have also.
Exactly.
We
That's what I
discussed
was.
about this,
That's
right?
what I was.
You told
telling
me
you,
about
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Correct.
So that is what I was trying to apply while
Mm.
when I go for my daily walking.
Yeah.
I try to when I'm walking, I'm like I'm just doing that walking unconsciously, but in my mind consciously I'm practicing the footsteps,
Yeah.
the footwork of
Correct.
for the bachata and salsa.
It'll be a tad bit difficult if you're walking, but
Yeah.
once you're in place and just sitting and
Right.
perhaps scrolling through your Instagram, this is how the steps are being done.
Mhm.
Automatically, you'll be practicing in your head.
Right. Right.
And I mean, it takes
Yeah,
a while.
it makes a difference because when
Correct.
I'm watching a move, when
Yeah.
I'm watching a particular video where they're teaching certain move
Mm.
in the tutorial,
Mm.
and it just like I start
Exactly.
doing it mentally, and like I can sense my body. It's like there is some like
Correct.
something is going on.
Mhm.
But yeah, sure. When you do it, actually, it'll be a bit different as
Different,
an
yeah.
experience. But then
Mhm.
you'll still be coming from a place that I've seen this somewhere and I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But very rightly said in terms of those Instagram videos, right? So I, for one, am very proud. I've got more than 1,000 videos which are already stored. I mean, there's that button, right? Bookmark.
Exactly, I do the same.
Exactly. And I've got so many of them, and I don't even consume all of them which I've
Exactly.
stored.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's somewhere imprinted in my head
Imprinted.
with certain videos which I'm very, very inspired from.
Exactly.
So there are a few dancers which I follow. If they're in town, I'm going for their workshops or
Right.
whatever. If I'm
Right.
flying down there, I'll be going for those workshops for sure. Those could be one. But like very rightly said, people who inspire you, consume as much things
Of them you can.
they can
Yeah.
really offer.
And eventually, what you consume, you become that.
Exactly. But I won't restrict you here just to dancing. I'm not sure if they have a TED talk, go and actually listen to
Yeah.
their TED talk.
Exactly.
See what's going on in their head.
Yeah.
That's
Because
true.
if you're inspired by someone, the inspiration doesn't come from what they're just doing.
Exactly.
Who they are is
they
what they
are,
are doing.
yeah.
So if you can get inspired from the person they are, then maybe you'll just fall onto that track.
Correct. Because I remember one TED talk really changed my life. That was Magna Gopal. She's from Tamil Nadu and she's based right now in US. Like Terry Cecile is considered to be the god of musicality. She's considered to be the goddess of turns.
Oh.
Spins, Magna Gopal is the best. I mean, hands down. If I
Yeah.
get to dance with her someday, I mean, I'm trying to manifest that very hard right now, but she is sheer bliss to watch. Her TED talk, she was saying that, doctors, she had some accident and doctors told her that she cannot ever dance. Right? And
That's
yeah,
mind over body. That's never.
exactly. That is
that's
what
absolute.
happened with you also, Arundhati. So yeah. But again, she is still the queen
Right.
and the goddess of turns, and the way she spins, and it involves a lot of your leg muscles, right, while you're spinning.
Absolutely.
So you know what is happening over there.
Absolutely.
But again, consuming such information really helps you. I mean, you actually are going way deeper at different dimensions
Right.
when you talk about dancing. Yeah, that's something interesting.
But
Now,
it's absolutely mind over body. I mean, if
Mind
you
over body,
decide you
yeah.
want to do it, even if your body can't do it, you will get there. But
You
your
will get
decision
there,
has to
yeah.
be consistent.
Exactly.
Your decision can't be over one failure on your body.
True,
it has to
true,
keep
true.
going
That
and
is-
going and going till you actually get there.
Yeah.
And if you've decided it's going to happen, then it'll happen at the right time,
Yeah.
not when you
Absolutely.
want it to.
Absolutely.
That's that belief is very important.
That belief and the burning desire to
And
do it.
the hard work towards the intent has to
Exactly.
be honest.
Exactly.
no, it typically should be where from are you actually coming when you're dancing, right? So automatically you get those inspirations. Automatically you get
Right.
the intent to get back up after your accident and sort of go ahead and still. I mean,
But it
you
is a
cannot
fact.
explain
You
that
can't. And it's
situation.
a fact. One accident or one change in your body changes you who you are as a person, thinking wise, and as a dancer. I was told that you will always, post my accident, you
Yeah.
will not get back to what you were. Fact, I didn't, because the time I broke my leg, I was the fittest I've ever been. And so then I decided, okay, I'll not go back to where I was. I'll get better than what I was.
Exactly.
So why did I want to go in reverse? Why did I want to say that? Why can't I get back to how I was?
Exactly.
I don't want to get back.
You're not
Let me
having.
get ahead.
You're not flowing in those kind of thought.
Yeah.
It is like I have this on my left hand. I have this dislocated finger. But when I'm playing the piano, it pains. It
Correct.
pains me, and it is not like straight. Just bent towards. While it happened when I was playing volleyball. But when I'm playing the piano, I just close my eyes. There is this pain, but I can't focus on the pain.
Exactly.
It is happening. It is just there. But I'm in such a flow that when I'm out of that zone, when I'm out of that meditative focus, that is when I feel the pain.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
happens
when you are completely submerged into something,
that pain is also bliss.
Exactly. It is a part of you. It is even it is contributing to the process.
At times you feel that maybe this could have been better if it didn't hurt me, but then you're actually caring less about it.
You don't care at all.
Exactly.
Like, as long as you are in the process itself.
And partner dancing, I've been hit by hair whips, I've been hit by elbows, I've been hit by knees, I've been hit by everything, but still somehow you're just at it.
You are at it.
Exactly, because you're again coming from a very separate place itself altogether.
Now that is what I can relate to. For me, it is fit. It is actually more into fitness. Like, I have dislocated my shoulders. I have had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But the love for fitness, it wouldn't just go.
Exactly.
I'll be like, okay, I'm frustrated. I have to sit at home. I have to recover. But I'm going to listen to my body. I'll give it as much time as it wants to recover. But I'm going to get back to
Exactly.
it. And when you get back to the process again, you just become better.
True.
Than what you
and
were
it's a new
previously.
process.
Yeah,
So there's another enjoyment
exactly.
to it.
Your body is actually listening to you. Respect your body respects you back. It is healing automatically.
Yeah.
There is a mind-muscle connection, mind-body connection. Everything is communicating with each
You
other.
become much more aware because of what you've gone through.
Exactly. You're so much connected with your body that it will get back you up. When you listen to it, it will listen to you.
Yeah.
That just happens magically.
And it's beyond explanations at times.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
You can't just
Yeah.
give it a very human explanation to it per se. But
Not at all.
something.
And if you're coming from the mindset, like, the kind of mindset a lot of people have is like, I want to become better than that. I want to become better than this person, or I want to compete, like from a competitive mindset.
Sure.
Then you are not listening to it. Then that is when your ego enters and you go like, ego lifting or something like that.
Yeah. I guess the only competition should be yourself.
Exactly.
Be
Exactly.
better.
But then again, there are people who thrive on that.
Exactly.
They do
That
thrive
gets
on that,
them
but
better,
then
good for them. It's like that.
The only thing is like, whatever you are taking the decision, it comes with a price and you
Everything
pay the
comes
price.
with a price.
Even for not doing anything, there is a price. Even for
Absolutely.
doing something, there is a price. Like Jordan Peterson says.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Highest price you pay is when you're actually not doing anything. True that. Very true. Yeah. But then again, I guess we've spoken to just sum things up. We've actually touched. I wasn't sure what we would really be trying to speak about, but
Nor was I.
I'm telling you, this room has magic, and we've actually come up with a lot of topics on the fly, and it's actually turned out to be something really amazing. But I mean, we spoke about emotions, we spoke about spirituality, we spoke about different dimensions altogether, happiness or maybe healing. or even say being headstrong towards what you really want to achieve
Exactly.
to a certain extent. And we spoke about a lot of things. What you would sort of say to your own 18-year-old self. I know. What would I say to my 18-year-old self would be very simple, that dancing, don't leave it for anything in this world. I mean, it's something very, very pure. I took a break, not the best thing I did, but then sure, no regrets.
And I would tell my 18-year-old, just keep dealing, like just do things for yourself. Everything else will fall in its right place. You play the right cards, you don't have to take care of anything else.
Exactly.
And do it for yourself. That's it.
How about you, AB Chan? Dancing, 18-year-old self. Be persistent.
It's okay if you cannot dance.
Yeah, that's fine.
Be persistent for the annual dance. Sure. But yeah, so maybe coming towards a very, 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 very different sort of a concept. Let's try something here. I mean, so I had actually this thing which I wanted to sort of bring up and maybe try and reflect upon a few thoughts that you guys might have. So when initially you roles Rohit,
Yes.
when you were talking about being very, very scared, right, while you're dancing with someone else and unable to close gap.
Yeah.
I still have this correlation with the usual dancing. I do not see that person in the eye when I'm dancing, right? But whomever I am looking in the eye and I'm dancing means way too much for me. I mean, at a different level altogether.
Yeah.
Right? So, but not everyone gets that privilege for me. So maybe I'm coming from that place right now. But initially, I was
Thank
tortured.
you for pointing at me.
No. Sure. Okay. You want. but I just couldn't. I could never look at the person in the eye. I would usually stare at the feet, or I'll stare at the wall, or I'll stare anywhere else. Dance would be perfect. I am still in the happiest space. But initially, my dance instructor used to say that, why don't you really connect with the eye? You can actually try to do that, and you could actually lead as well, because she'll kind of understand where you're trying to lead her towards. It just
Actually, yeah, it doesn't happen, because even when I'm dancing, I'm mostly focused on the feet. If my footwork is going proper, even that is not the thought. Like it used to be the initial thought when I started learning. But right now, what I feel is like, the way I hold my partner, the way I lead the way I'm leading them. I'm trying to feel that, like, I'm feeling the music. I'm feeling getting into the flow of the music. I'm getting into the flow of, like, how am I leading? I'm just trying to become one with it. And the flow, it automatically starts flowing in.
Exactly.
And I don't even find it necessary to look into the eyes of the partner.
And you were listening to part 1 of the episode 12 of the VAbE podcast. Stay tuned for the part 2.